I just realized I was
Um,
rise and shine. I'm well. How are you?
I am wonderful. Um, before others join, I'm always interested in hearing people's background, where they're from, how they heard about us, so I can find some opportunities out here for you. So,
Yes, ma'am. I was raised in New York by a Southern woman, by my grandmother and my great grandmother, um, in New York, and I just finished nursing school, so now I'm an RN.
congratulations.
Thank you. And it's my goal to I guess have an agri business. Like I want to get into agriculture.
Okay. All right.
Um, yeah.
All right. All right. We're gonna help you out here. So welcome. And
Oh,
how'd you
thank
hear
you.
about us?
I heard about you through Falami Irvine.
Oh, okay. Yes, yes, up in Philadelphia.
Yes.
Okay, great. Mr. Proctor, all I see
Good
is
morning.
a nice living room.
Yes.
I
uh,
don't see no face in the living room. You just
yeah,
have to do it by yourself.
yeah. My camera is doing something funky. I think I'm going to have to log off and log back on so that my camera can work.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll be right back.
Well, before you leave, just tell us a little bit about you.
Okay.
Hear about
Uh,
us.
yeah, you've we've talked a few times if you remember me.
Okay.
Uh, yeah. I've been in the spent my whole career for the most part in defense contracting, defense and intel. My last, so I work for myself. I have my own business, consulting company that does both B2B and GovCon, but I haven't gotten a contract yet. I've been more so supporting other GovCon businesses to strengthen their companies. And so I've ratcheted up my efforts for BD for myself lately. Uh,
Okay.
um, yeah, and so I've been around, grew up in Washington, D.C., of course, that's where all defense and intel is, then moved to Atlanta, and now I'm in Charlotte. Um, and so, so yeah, like I said, I've just been uh, focusing in on lately just the twin path of, businesses, which is fast cash, right? And then GovCon, which is more sustainable cash.
There you go.
Yeah,
Thank you. Welcome.
yeah,
Mr.
thank you.
Tucker, please introduce yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Ty Tucker. Um, Mainly here just to, tap back in, get a little bit more information from what I heard the last time in case I missed anything. So I did get on a little late last time, but I'm in the youth sports business, family entertainment side. Been running flag football leagues and tournaments in the South Jersey area, ages 3 to 15. And I've been doing that for approximately 10 years now.
Is that under a nonprofit or you're doing it just as a individual and mentorship?
I've been doing it for as a for-profit business.
Okay. Well,
Mhm.
I applaud you.
Thank
I
you.
applaud you. Thank you. Miss Irvine, she's already in the class.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I'm Falami Irvine from Philadelphia, and I do a mentoring program for girls and women from the womb to the tomb.
Okay. All right. And we met years ago
Yes,
when I was at SBA.
yes, yes.
So, so welcome.
Thank
Again, I think Mr. Proctor was going to jump back in. It is 9:30. It was 14 people that register, but my thing is who's supposed to be here is supposed to be here. You know what I mean? So I don't count the numbers, I count the quality. So I thank you for hopping in and getting in on this. So let's go ahead and jump into this right now. I'm actually going to, if you all don't mind, it's all about business and marketing. I am going to live stream this on Facebook. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how this works here. Go live. All right, it's coming up. As we let others in. Good morning. Hold on, give me one more moment as I get back to the Facebook page. And I think I have to mute it. And we're live. Good morning, good morning. Welcome, welcome, everyone. There's Mr. Proctor. We got a face there.
There we go.
Morning, Shannon. And welcome. Can you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are, your background, where you're located, and how did you hear about us? And first of all, let me welcome the Facebook family to everyone. So can you unmute yourself, Miss? Is it Shannon could go either way, male or female? Can you unmute yourself?
Good morning, Miss Paula. I'm
Good
Shannon.
morning. Okay, good morning.
It's Shannon Charlton. I'm in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and I have a courier service, cargo van, delivery of goods, not passengers. And I'm in the school community. I'm trying to figure all this out, but I'm in the school community. I was in the class, I think you had last Saturday. I can't remember.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And how'd you hear about us?
I saw you on the LinkedIn post,
Okay.
and
All
then I've been hearing people talk about you.
right. Good things, I hope. So
Yes, of course, of course.
my name's good on the streets, huh, as they say. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and jump into the presentation. Welcome, Facebook family. I haven't did a Facebook Live in a long time, so I think it's about time. Um, Again, I like to start out and with our slogan, we love creating millionaires. And through federal contracts, it's all about building generational wealth and leveraging this to create your legacy. Because for me, that's what it's all about, is your legacy. And even though there's still chaos in what's going on right now, there's also a whole lot of opportunities out there. And we're going to look at some of these opportunities so that you can see, um, as a small business without any certifications, how you can compete in this space. We are in what we would call up in Washington, D.C., Christmas time, because this is the last quarter of the year. And I know by September 30th, they have to get rid of a whole lot of money. So I'm encouraging everyone to become mobilized. We've got to get in this game. So often when I'm out talking to small businesses, what I realize, they're not even submitting bids. They're not submitting bids because they're fearful. So we need to get away from being afraid and step in. So again, I like to always open up with my why. My why is my father. He was one of the first African American police officers in my hometown of Asheville, North Carolina. He ended up having to sue the department based on based on discrimination. He ended up winning. They ended up having to pay him his back pay and restore his sergeant badge. And after that, he retired and ran for city council and became their boss. in that process, while he was a city councilman for 2 years, he identified land by the projects and he felt like the kids needed a place to play. So he was able to find funding and now we have a park in his name. So they actually dedicated the park while he was still alive. So for me, I stand on his shoulders. This is what drives me and continue to push me. Just like him, it was about the future. It was about the next generation. For me, it's the same thing. It's about the next generation and getting our community in the game so that you can be the game changer for your family. Amen. We're going to do a little preaching this morning. So I feel it coming on, and it's a need that we understand this game. For those of you who don't know who I am Paula Watts, the founder and CEO of GPI, Government Procurement Innovators, better known as GPI. After originally from Asheville, after college, I went to Washington, D.C., and my very first job was with a company that was a part of the 8A program. By a show of hands, can you show me how many of you heard of the 8A program? Okay. We're going to go into more depth about that program, what it really means, and how you can actually benefit from that program. My first job was doing event planning for the government on a contract. And every 3 years, I went with that contract to a new 8A company where I ended up going through 6 8A companies before I decided to start my first business. The first year in business, I received my first $1 million contract. The second year, I applied into the 8A program, received another 3 million, and continuously grew the business in 5 years where I had close to $15 million in contracts and almost 40 employees. And that's really where the challenge began because I didn't have a clue what I was doing. I went from a project manager to running a multi-million-dollar company. I had two business partners, one who felt like he could run his personal expenses through the business. The last straw for me was a $3,000 custom-made pinstripe suit with his initials going down the pinstripe. Like, you have lost your mind. I had my assistant to do a audit on his credit card. He ended up taking her in the elevator and threatening her. I then terminated him. He then conspired with two employees to sue me and the other partner for sexual harassment. After 2 years of attorney fees, 125,000 in attorney fees, 100,000 to buy him out, I closed the business in 2005. And that really pushed me to my new passion because I realized nobody was training our community on how to grow and build a business in this space. So I volunteered as a score counselor for 2 years, which is a resource partner of SBA. After 2 years there, ran out of money, applied for a position at SBA. I was hired in the Philadelphia district office. I was hired to service the businesses that were in the 8A program. That office also was the office that processed the applications, which gave me a good insight on what they were looking for, those who were applying into the program. Why were they declining and what was the common reason? After 4 years there, I relocated here to Atlanta in 2012. And while I was in this office, they required that we become certified as a contract specialist. And for me, that was the missing piece of the puzzle, meaning I wasn't quite sure how the agency actually put solicitations out for you to compete on. So by becoming certified as a contract specialist, I began to understand what steps they took for you to compete, to put that bid out for you to respond to. And that was full circle for me, meaning I'd run a business for 10 years. I'd worked at SBA, and now I understood the agency's processes. I've trained more than 10,000 businesses on how to market to the government and have assisted small businesses to win over 1.5 billion in contracts across various contracts. I've also self-published a book. Actually, I have a book signing after this webinar at the new Black Wall Street. So if you're in Atlanta, come on out at the Pink Lounge. The book was called That's Crazy, Recognize Crazy and Run. The names have been changed to protect the innocent, but it's all about documenting that craziness that went in that business so that you don't make the same mistakes and have the same challenges that I've had. So when you look at the federal government, and what I realized working at SBA is that the challenges businesses have getting into this space is that everything is information based, meaning I would do a workshop at SBA, tell you to go register in SAM, tell you about our programs and why you should get certified. Everyone will do all of that. And then it's like, now what? And it's the same thing with the federal agencies. They don't understand SBA's rules and regulations. And SBA is a major factor in this space. So what tends to happen is people become confused. They're not quite sure how to connect the dots. So when you look at the challenges, agencies typically expect that you understand their language. They have different acronyms. They're assuming when you're coming to these events and you're winning these contracts, you already understand the rules of engagement. You understand their government processes. It's important for you to understand what certifications that you're are qualified for. And what documentations will SBA be looking for when you're applying into their programs? And I will consistently say, unless you worked on the inside of SBA, no one understands their process and their operations. And often these agencies' websites are disconnected. If you register your business in sam.gov, that's managed by the General Services Administration. The Dynamic Small Business Search in all of SBA's program is another database that's managed by SBA. So that's where the confusion becomes because no one is connecting the dots for small businesses. So based on all of that, that's what led me to create GPI 10 years ago in September. So I'll be celebrating 10 years in business. And it was all based on lessons learned and things that I've learned while working at SBA. So the first thing that we teach you is not to limit your business. Meaning, after I won that first $1 million contract doing event planning, I was no longer as the owner doing big event planning. I had a staff. And when I started marketing my business, my mentor pulled me aside and said, "Why are you pigeonholing yourself?" And when he said that, it made sense based on those companies that I'd gone through. And I began to look at the successful ones, and then I just mirrored my business on those that were successful. In this space, everybody's management consultant. So in the first part of the module, we're teaching you how to become a CEO and to help you to understand managing a business has nothing to do with your skill set. Your job as the CEO is to find the subject matter experts that you're now going to put on those contracts. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yes.
And that's the hardest challenge that I find with people going through the business model. The first module is the mindset. Mhm. It's shifting. And what we're teaching you to do is to dress up and look like everybody else. Because in this space, it's all about collaboration. All of SBA's program is about us working together. So in the second module, we put you into teams. In this space and in this time, we have no other choice but to come together. We're better collectively than trying to do this thing by ourselves. It's impossible. Right, Miss Greenfield? She's currently in my cohort right now. You understand the power of working together. Am I correct? I don't know if she was still online. Miss Greenfield, Adina. Secondly, third, you must,
Yeah.
I would, yes, hold on, let me meet Mr. Third, you must have the infrastructure. What do I mean by infrastructure, someone? That's a question.
Like the foundation,
What are you saying as the foundation?
kind of having the basics, like you said, the first module is kind of like being the CEO, really having that foundation of how to really run a business. Like anybody can like sell the cakes and the pies, but it's an understanding of how to really, it's a business behind it. It's not just selling, coming up, showing and selling. You got to know how to strategize. You know, I got to target. You got to know how to pivot when things change. You got to know how to be a leader. You got to have that grounding and
I
founding.
said accountants and attorneys. I was sued. Had I had employment practice liability insurance, that would have covered my attorney fees. It is not the same as errors and omissions. People assume if you have errors and omissions as part of your insurance, that will cover your internal, but that covers the external.
A
So,
lot of contracts require both.
what did you
I
say?
said a number of contracts will require both.
Um, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that, right? Back then, they weren't um, looking at it from that perspective. So when you look at the federal government operates on a fiscal year. When does the federal government starts their fiscal year, ends its fiscal year, someone? Anybody knows?
October 1.
October 1st to September 30th. So what generally happens between October and February, most agencies are operating on what they call a continuing resolution, a CR. You'll hear that on the news. They're extending that CR. And what that means is that they are operating on a limited budget. For you, that's the best time for you to get in front of their face because they are operating on limited funds and don't really have their funding yet. Once they get their funding, which generally will fall between March, and then their bidding time for you is March to September, because we know now that's the best time. I mean, we know now they're trying to get rid of all the money. So you have to be strategic in what you're doing in this space. You have to team, you have to build relationships. So that's the time between October and February that you're going to be building relationships. Every year, and I need to update this PowerPoint, they just published the scorecard. Every year, SBA negotiates with each agency on achieving goals as it relates to their set aside programs. Um, 23% across the board have to be set aside for small businesses, 5% for women owned, 5% for small disadvantaged businesses, 5% for service disabled veteran owned, 3% for hub zone. And what they're doing right now, or what they have done, is made all of these equally. As you can see over here, when we had the previous administration, the goals were higher. Since this new administration has come in, they now make everything equal. What they really are trying to do is get rid of these set aside programs. And it's okay with me to a certain degree. But before they get rid of it, we need to get as many engaged and in the process now, because all of these programs are designed to help you be able to compete as a small business. We've been programmed, hear me again, to get all these certifications. They've told you I can't compete unless I have these certifications. You can compete just as a small business without any certifications. A true example, I have someone who just completed my cohort. Her background was IT. She submitted her bid for rock salt in North Carolina. She's in Georgia. She's put up almost a 40 to 50% markup on that. That's the low-hanging fruit. Her background is IT. She does not need to know anything about rock salt. Your job right now as a small business is project management, making sure that those deliveries are occurring. Those are the run and dones. And that's what we're encouraging you to do, is look at those low-hanging fruits, especially right now, because again, they're trying to get rid of the money.
You
And
talking
there's,
about the middleman strategy?
huh?
Are you referring to the middleman strategy?
Absolutely. But you still have to perform on it. You cannot just win that contract and depend on the subcontractor to do all the work. You still have to manage the project, and you're gaining past performance. So that's one of the strategies. And over here, as I say, you can see the scorecards, and you can see there's a lot of dollars being awarded in each of these set asides, as well as just for small businesses. So right now, it's important that we become engaged. What I also realized when I left DMV and went to Pennsylvania and then came here to Atlanta was that people outside the DMV area had no clue about these programs. I grew up in it. What you see here in Maryland is 627 firms in the 8A program. In Virginia, it's over 1,000. So when you come outside of DC, and even just looking here in Georgia, it's 197 firms in the program as of July 25th. Out of the 197, I would say there are 100 Black-owned businesses that are in that program. In Pennsylvania, it was only 62. I refuse to believe that we don't have more than 100 Black-owned businesses in the state of Georgia, in the state of New York, that can qualify into this program. Something is wrong here. And right now, we need to get as many engaged before these programs are dismantled and we're not going to get the benefits as we have been getting. These programs have really been the pathway for us creating generational wealth. And that's what I saw in Washington, D.C. I grew up in it. That's why you have the most wealth in the Washington, D.C. area, because everyone was a government contractor or worked with the government one way or the other. So this is the database where you go and opportunities are posted. And this is also where you go and register your business. And as you can see, I haven't updated this. As we get closer to August and September, this number is going to increase. Right now, it's showing you there's 5,000 opportunities out there worldwide and nationally. The government's worldwide. Don't forget that. So what I will consistently say is that there's not that much competition. When I was working with our resource partners with SCORE and the Small Business Development Center, they'll tell you stay locally, go to the state. You're not ready to compete on a federal contract. And that is not true because they have contracts specifically for small businesses that are 250,000 and below. That's how they're meeting their goals. So don't let them tell you that. So how do you get into this game? You self-certify in as I say, sam.gov. Um, this database still has a lot of bugs in it. We call it such a mess when it was launched when I was still working in the government. You self-certify as a small business, as a small disadvantaged business, and then you have 4 programs that are um, meaning 4 programs where you're actually submitting applications to SBA. The 8A program, which is a business development program, you're in it for 9 years. The Hub Zone program, which is designed for communities. The Women-Owned program, which is, again, for women. And then we have Service Disabled Veteran on. Do I have any veterans online? Thank you for your sacrifice. We appreciate it. Now, this is the website where they now combined all these databases into one portal. Previously, if you were applying for the women's program, service disabled, Hub Zone, they each had their own portal. So you would have to upload the same information into each of those portals to, and it didn't make sense to me, even on the inside. Now they put it all into one portal. You can go into my SBA certifications and apply for each of the programs and only upload one of, like for instance, 8A may ask for your tax returns. The women's program may ask for tax returns. Instead of uploading it in both databases, you only have to upload it one time. For the 8A program, this is the only program, hear me now, that is designed to build your business. And the way it's building your business is by allowing you to have access to non-competitive contracts that are up to $4.5 million. Those are called sole source. So for me, it's shaping a strategy around those contracts because these contracts right here that's under this program that are sole source will never be advertised. So it's now positioning yourself to partner with companies that are graduating from that program that's going to lose that contract that can now subcontract to you. In this program as well, you cannot have 2, 3, 4, 5 entities. In our community, we tend, whatever brain idea we want to have, we're going to open up another business for that entity. That's a headache for me because part of the rules of being in this program, you have to be full-time under that entity. And if you have 4 or 5 entities and you have revenues coming through all of those entities, we don't know which one you're serving. And if we're going to give you 9 years of access to non-competitive contracts, we don't have time for you working in those other entities. Any questions? All right. Also, HubZone is based on where your business is located. As long as your business is located in an area that's been designated as a hub zone and 35% of your employees reside in the hub zone, then you're eligible for that program. Previously, the social component of the 8A program, as long as you were a member of any one of these ethnic groups, you automatically met the social disadvantage component. Based on the lawsuit last year, they've changed the rules of engagement. The rules of engagement now, you have to document on how you've been discriminated here in America. So you have to write out narratives and demonstrate how you can how you've been discriminated against, and that's always been the case. As long as you could, for example, I had a white male that was part of my portfolio. He was able to document that he had psoriasis. And based on the psoriasis and him going into banks and schools, it limited him growing his business. So when you're looking at that social narrative, you have to really provide concrete evidence or narratives on how you've been discriminated against. I think we all have those cases. The economic component of it, as long as your your net worth does not exceed $850,000, minus any equity in your home and in your business, then you meet the economic component. If you have rental properties, the equity in those rental properties will be counted against you. If you are, do I have any real estate agents online? For the real estate agents, you cannot come in this program under the broker's code. What I recommend everyone come in under the management consulting code, which is 541. Can someone write that in the chat for me? 611 541 611. That's a catch-all. That's pretty much project management. The HubZone program, there's no term limits associated with it. You recertify every year. Every 3 years, they've changed that. In this program, along with the women's program, veterans program, in order for an agency to do a direct award, as a sole source, they have to abide by the regulations of what they call the rule of two, meaning they have to make sure that there are at least two businesses that are qualified to perform on that solicitation. So you have the power to force a sole source under this program by getting two women, or two men, or two businesses in the hub zone to apply for that same solicitation, because you're trying to minimize your competition and give the agency a way to get it off their plate. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay. This is the map. If you put on that QR code, this is going to demonstrate if your business or your home-based business is located in a hub zone. Once you put the address in, this is what's going to come up. Here in Atlanta, I work downtown with SBA, and you would think not that this was a hub zone area because you have the Marriott, the Ritz-Carlton, but around the corner you have the homeless shelters. So this is what made this area a hub zone. And as you can see, it's all based on the census tract data. So it expires on July 2026, and based on what the Census Bureau has come up with, it determines whether or not that area you're in a hub zone. Y'all have any questions on that? Also, understand you cannot lie to the government. I was the hub zone liaison in Philadelphia, meaning as the government, I was now the popo. I could do drive-bys. And as a hub zone liaison, I could just pull up. And that was part of my job in traveling in Pennsylvania. I would go to these rural counties or rural areas that were designated or been approved into the program. And coming to those places, it could be just a whole field. And you've won contracts under that program, now you're going to jail because you fraudulently obtained those contracts. The women's program is broken down into two components: economically disadvantaged and WOSB. Once you apply as under the ED component of the program, you do not have to apply a second time for WOSB. The ED mirrors the 8A program. It's all based on your net worth. You can self-certify, and again, I need to update this. It's mysbacertifications.gov, or you can go through a third-party certifier where there's a cost associated with it. I recommend, and part of the program, you're going to be doing it yourself, because you're going to have in Business Ready all the documentations needed to upload into those portals. Because what I did is created templates. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. All of these programs require, except the Hub Zone, require 51% owned and unconditionally owned by that woman on. So when it was actually became law in 2012, I was getting a lot of phone calls in Philadelphia of all the men trying to see how their women could become the 51% owner. There's no minimum amount of time. I'm working full-time, working during the normal working hours. But again, that's based on industry. So if you're in the IT, you can say normal working hours for me is from 6 to midnight or whatever. So the whole goal is not to necessarily to depend heavily on the certifications, but to use that as a vehicle. We have to, our whole message now has to change. You can no longer go in there and lead with these certifications. Your whole messaging should be, I'm a small business, and by the way, I have these certifications as a contracting vehicle. Anybody have any questions? And is this making sense to everybody?
Yes.
Okay. The Veterans Program, again, they have the same opportunities as the Hub Zone Women On, based on the rule of two. You also will see subcontracting goals. Anyone that receives a contract of $750,000, or really any federal funding, they have to establish subcontracting goals. The same goals that SBA has, and SBA is monitoring those goals. So that's really where those DBEs and EEs and MBEs, all those E's come into play, because they're receiving federal dollars. And I will consistently say, once you understand how to compete just as a small business on the federal side, it's the same procedures and process for the most part for state and local contracts, because they're receiving federal dollars. But the thing I will say with local and state is a lot of politics, and you're competing with a larger pool. And I do not have to be in that location to win that contract. This used to be under VA. Ms. Irvine, do you have your disability, your DD, what is it, 214 or?
Yes. My D.
Okay.
Yeah.
And have you gone through SBA to get your certifications through them?
No, I had a
Oh,
SAMS, but it's out. It's not active. So I was getting ready to try to activate my SAMS.
okay. We're gonna update this, and all of it is paperwork. And this is where a lot of the contracts are going. They're going to the veterans. And this program is taking about 6 weeks for approval. The women's program is taking a little longer. Just to get everyone clear on these certifications, the corporates is MBEs, WBEs, and VBEs. We just discussed the federal. The state is the DBEs. Up in Pennsylvania, it's the SEPTA. They will do those certifications. And then whatever district, county, territory, township you're in, they may have their own local certifications. So for me, I say start at the top and then come down, because in the end, it's still our tax dollars. I think that's where the disconnect is. We don't understand everything that they're doing right now is our tax dollars. On one hand, I'm not going to be mad at them. We just need to understand so that we can get the same tax credit as the billionaires. And it's all about ownership, owning our own real estate and owning our own business. Can I get an amen from the church?
Amen.
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 I am going to take y'all to some websites, but also I want to put you all into this community that we're beginning to build, because we've got to collaborate. We've got to be able to partner. We've got to work together in order to conquer this demon that's going on. So I put the link in the chat. But as I said earlier, sam.gov was the actual website where opportunities are posted. I like this website. It's a third-party website, but it's still connected to sam.gov so that, but it's easier to find opportunities. So let's say it's to Pennsylvania, right up there. So I can put in here, let's put in here and see what's currently located by your state. What opportunities are here in Pennsylvania? And as I say, I showed you all the numbers. I know that there's no competition. Um, you know where they're trying to channel the money, and because up north there are more probably, I would say, manufacturers. They're trying to push us back to manufacturers. We're just going to follow the money. So it's building up relationships with manufacturers. But you can see right now what opportunities are out there. Miss Raw, you said you were a nurse, right?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
this right here, I'll let it, what is somebody looks like purchasing blood units. Am I correct?
Well, that's for like like kidney dialysis. So that's the
Yeah.
hemodialysis units.
So you just find somebody that provide those units. Am I making sense here?
Yes.
There's nothing that the government do that don't buy. There's something for everybody. I like this because again, everything is posted daily. And I can go in here by day, by year, by month. And these are some of the databases that you learn to use when you're in the program. And it shows me every day how many opportunities are posted. So I
Mhm.
like to go here and shop. And what you'll see here, and that's the reason that I like this, is alphabetized by industry. And there's something in here for every industry. The first stage of the government's procurement is what they call a sources sort. This is how you begin to help drive the acquisition stage based on the number of responses they receive from businesses. Helps them set it aside for small businesses. So if you're not responding to it, then they're going to leave it open for the big businesses. So I look in every industry because, again, I'm looking at what they're buying and who do I know. And that's the beauty of why I like this community that we are setting up. The government buys everything. So now I'm just finding the people with with the opportunities. So look at this. And if you look at the activities that are currently going on, what do you see happening right here? What's this bottom? Can somebody read that bottom one?
Social media advertising program for ICE rapid recruitment effort.
And so for me, sometimes I think it's a moral thing because I disagree with how they're handling this. But you know, that's getting ready to be a whole lot of money
Hmm.
dumped for ICE. Yeah, that goes against my spirit. But again, every day you're going to see what type of opportunities. Do I need to know about certain education? I'm just going to tie up with a school or find somebody in that subject area. The government buys everything. All right. Non-emergency ambulance services. What is that? those that are in the healthcare, then
Yeah.
transportation. That's not ambulance, right?
No.
So you can see that's just them trying to fish. Now this is showing you, and as I say, every day these numbers are going to increase until you go until September 30th. There's something in here for everybody or somebody you know in your network. Am I making sense to the church?
Amen.
Yes,
Yes?
yes,
Real estate, appraisals. There's just logistical support. Um, they're shutting stuff that down. So as I said, there's opportunity for everyone. Mr. Tucker, you said you did sports official, right? Mr. Tucker, you still online? I'm not sure. But right here, this is an opportunity for sport youth. And I think you said the age group. Did everyone hear? I'm not sure if he has access or is able to hear me. But in the beginning, he said he was a sports official for youth. Here's an opportunity.
Mm.
I don't know. He missing the good news right here.
Is that Mr. Proctor? Somebody had to leave for a 10 a.m. appointment.
Oh yes. Then you got a Catholic musician. I'm just gonna find a Catholic church in that area that may be somebody looking for a job. Are y'all understanding the logic?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. The church is quiet this morning. So I wanted, let me go back here. I wanted to show you this website. This is the website that tracks all of your dollars. Everything from grants, loans, it tracks all of the government spending. So this database is another database that you'll learn to use as part of the program. It tells where your tax dollars are being spent by state. So I use this database primarily as a strategy. I wanted to give you an example of one of the students that was in the program, and as I said, I just had two students that was in the program that won contracts while taking it. That's why I don't guarantee it. It's on you. You put the work in, it pays off. Even though October is going to slow down, there's still going to be opportunities. It's just not going to be as as uh, as many. But I wanted to give you an example of this young lady. Another one who won contracts while she was in the program. Hold on. This was for a contract. This is what I'm saying to run and done. 3 months. The government needed hotel space, 3 days hotel. She found a hotel. The hotel's cost was $48,000. You can see she put her bid in at $104,000. And it was again negotiating and finding the hotel space. And so when you look here, what do you see? And
One offer.
hmm,
One offer.
One.
no competition. That's why I'm kicking and screaming. Get into this game, y'all. This also is the database where we begin to shape a strategy. It shows every contract, and right here I talked about those contracts not being advertised. You shape a contract around these programs. That's how we change the game. And so the whole purpose of me creating school is because of this map. Right now we have 225 and we just launched it late June. My vision is we populate this map, we should be covered across the US. Because if I'm in Jacksonville, right, and I see a contract in California, I know I have somebody in California that I can reach out to that is boots on the ground. These are your vendors. They don't know local vendors. I don't have to know, again, anything. If I'm looking again for these small buys, and most of them may be like carpet replacement, RFQs. That's what I put in. It's going to show me what types of buys are RFQs. What are they looking for? Right here, they're looking for computers. They may be looking for carpet replacement. The government buys everything with your tax dollars. So for me, that's another way to get my dollars back. So what I used to tell businesses here in Atlanta, knowing that you don't have any competition here, and I know the neighboring states like North Carolina and South Carolina, the numbers are even lower. Wherever there's a military base, something is going on with my site. Wherever there's a military base, there's a federal contract. What's up in Pennsylvania? Can somebody tell me some federal agencies in Pennsylvania?
Um,
Hmm? Yeah, I have military bases, right? You got the Defense Logistics Agency. They manage the military bases worldwide. So if you're a caterer, the commissaries, people think we don't we're not able to take care. I mean, we're not able to if we have a storefront, retail's in commissaries. You have barbers. All the military need barbers and hairstylists. So those are the things that we transfer. Here's one right here, healthcare services for New Jersey. So this is how we begin to start partnering.
mm,
Are y'all understanding the logic? Let's look and see what's in
yes,
Georgia.
ma'am.
Huh?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so all of this is in Georgia. What's going on? Renovate janitorial services. Do I need to know anything about janitorial?
No.
Oh, it's for service disabled veteran. I don't have that certification, but I can partner with Miss Irvine to see how we can collaborate on it. But the place of performance is in Florida. So I may contact somebody in Florida that can, what janitors are you using? And with AI right now, I'm telling y'all, that's the game changer. The young lady that won the rock salt, I
Mhm.
challenged her class in June. I want you, because we are afraid to apply it. or they want everything to be perfect. Right now, I don't want just throw the fishnet out there. She submitted 27 bids using AI.
Wow.
It's a game changer, but we aren't even participating. So, any questions around the program or the what I've discussed before I talk about our program? Anybody?
I did want to ask about the person you said that did the 3-day event and got the hotel. You said they paid 48, but the it said 104. Like, how's the how does that
Huh?
a little clarity? You said that the person you had showed us the person who got the hotel, and you
Uh-huh.
said the hotel was 48,000, but on there it says 104. So they made money off of getting the hotels.
Absolutely. That was a 60,000, almost a $60,000 block.
Gotcha.
And a one running time. Huh?
I do have a question. I'm sorry. My name is Moses. So I'm driving and I joined late. I was going through your program, if you can hear me, and looks like I'm not sure if the program or those you know those programs are tailored to maybe people of a certain income bracket or something like that, because I'm looking to start a small business contracting, and what I want to hope is that I can get from a class all the tools and skills, but then my concern is maybe I'm not going to qualify for certain types of programs
You,
because
you, you
I
start
fall
you
into the.
start you start tomorrow. You can qualify as a small business and go after these contracts.
Okay, and it doesn't matter um what's like what your what your income is, or maybe what your
You got
net
to be
worth
able to
is.
finance that contract, but we talk about how you go about financing it
Okay,
in the program.
okay, sounds good.
And it does not have to be on your skill sets. Again, it's shifting people's mindset because we immediately go back to our background. Yes, I've identified opportunities in everybody's background. I can tell what opportunities, but if the government's awarding billions of dollars of contracts, why do I want to pigeonhole myself to one specific area? It's still the same process. You still got to find people to do the work. I don't care what industry it's in. Does that make sense to y'all?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So the first module is business ready. Again, some people, I make everyone start at the same place because those that may be more seasoned don't have their paperwork in place. So it's important for me that you understand exactly what SBA is going to be looking for as you begin to apply into those programs. And then beginning to understand how to respond to these opportunities. My goal is that you get a return on your investment sooner than later. In that first module, their business will be registered properly in sam.gov. It's not what it looks like today. It's not gonna be based on your skill set. It's based on your role as the CEO and managing the business. The second module is all around strategy. Now that we've dressed you up in business ready, now how do you strategize and understand the power of teaming and leveraging those programs in that perspective? Because all of these contracts and all of SBA's programs require a lot of partnering, but we don't understand how to collaborate. So in that module, we're the government. I put you into teams and you gotta work it out. The third module is all geared around the mentor protege program and the 8A program. And that's going to have a business plan that will help you get approved into most of those programs. The classes are 18 weeks. Each module is 6 weeks. You do the price is $24.97. If you bring in a second person, it's $1,000. But right now, I have an early bird until August 15th for $22.97. And again, if you bring in a second person, it is $34.97. It's still trying to minimize the costs for everyone. But you also have to look at this as a tax write-off. You can write off this expense as part of your business. The next class is going to start Thursday, August 21st from 8 to 9:30 p.m. The classes are held weekly. You have also office hours. That's when all the cohorts come together. That's from 6 to 7 p.m. And I'm on those calls as well. And it generally goes into a little bit more depth than what's in the classroom. And then you have the lab sessions to support people who need assistance in completing their program. I mean, their homework assignments, because you're going to have homework every week in that first module, but it's all applicable towards your business. And I've created templates from that first business so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I've created the blueprint that has been proven. And these are some of the examples of your homework assignments that you're going to be expected to complete. And this is a snapshot of what the team will have to come together to deliver in the second module. And that's my story. Any questions?
Um, Class is on Thursdays, 8 to 9:30 p.m.
Yes,
You say? Okay.
and it's recorded. So even if you miss a week, you can come back and hear it.
Oh, okay. That's great.
Okay. So can I get some takeaways?
I'm just excited.
Huh?
I'm just excited.
What did you hear?
Everything I wish I heard 10 years ago.
That degree is a skill set that they teaching you. They're not teaching you how to grow that agency as a healthcare staffing.
Well, that and also I have a business background. It's my first degree and years of training was in business. So
they're not teaching you less.
oh no.
Okay. All right, Miss Kiva, introduce yourself and how'd you hear about us and what was your takeaway?
Hi, good morning, everyone. I heard about it through my friend who just spoke, and my takeaway is that there are ways in which we can utilize the system like everyone else to help create generational wealth for ourselves and our family and their generation as well, and even those that we know in our community.
Exactly.
We collaborate, we can continue to excel.
Because we have to save us right now.
Exactly.
We have to save us.
Exactly.
The house is on fire. Shannon, what was your takeaway? Can you unmute?
Oh, I took away a lot of stuff. I like the SBA information. I did have a question regarding once you do the SBA in the hub zone, is there somebody that helps you with the process of getting, or you have to do, I know you have to do the work yourself, but like what you said you used to do for the SBA.
That's all part of the program. I'm teaching you the inside out.
Okay. You'll teach us how to get the money to pay you though, right?
Huh?
What about the SBA loans? Do you teach that, like how to get an SBA loan?
No, I got factoring. Most of us don't have it. We go over all of that. That's all covered in the program. And it's also in a payment plan through PayPal. PayPal buy now, 6 months later, pay 6 months.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Mr. Tucker, are you still there with me? I don't know. He just put me on mute and Mr. I don't want to pronounce your name. Look, I'm not even gonna try it. What's your takeaway?
Like like Bam Adebayo of the Miami Heat.
Adebayo. Okay.
But yeah, no, definitely I've been looking into the space for a while, and I think I actually heard about you probably in 2021, 2022, but I just haven't had time to really digest. But I think that yes, I think the path to generational wealth is through business, to be frank, and working with the government is probably the I mean, nothing is easy, but it's probably the best path to generational wealth. That's because, like you said, the U.S. government is the ultimate buyer of everything across the world. Um, and there's like, trillions of dollars being spent. Sometimes we even go into debt. We like go
We
into
are.
budget deficits just to buy things. I'm kind of looking forward to taking the course. I want to take it this August actually with some colleagues that probably will become like my
Yeah.
business partners. So I would like to get a contact. Maybe if you drop it
Yes. I'll put it
in
in
the
there. You
chat.
can call me and we can
Yeah,
have it off. But
yes, because
please
I'll be
join
asking a short question.
you all can please join that school community.
Okay.
You can see the alumni, they're competing, they're partnering. They also understand the part, the power of collaboration. And that's what I love. That's what I love, that community. They get it. They get it. They are now teaming and partnering. We no longer are competing with each other for the crumbs. Mm. Let's get away from the crumbs. Let's go for these billion-dollar contracts. As I say, I have one of the proteges that I'm most proud of, won her $1 billion contract.
Wow.
That was
Amazing.
2 years ago. That's 10 years. Now I know that's the generational wealth. That's the generational wealth. But we can't be stuck on our skill set because our skill set is not gonna make $1 billion. Amen. But with that being said, I thank you guys. And I hope to see you. Hope that you become a part of the community. All right.
Thank you so
I
much.
wanted
All
to,
right.
I wanted to say my takeaway is
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
it's okay. Miss Paula's passion. And I think, a lot of times, a lot of our OGs are not passing on, they sometimes gatekeepers. So she really, really emphasized today what I took away. Collaboration, generational wealth. Just not, it's about getting the bag. I think she really brought that and the opportunities that the government has. But I think so much more was about this collaboration. We can make this happen if we really work together. We really work together. We can make this happen. And for some of us, I know might be in the struggle. Well, how am I going to pay for this class? Everything the devil tried to be busy this week. I went to my bank and I said, listen, I was listening to one of Miss Paula's tube classes on GPI, and it's one guy in there said something about a certain place that he went to, and they got him a credit card. So I called up the bank. I said, well, I've been with y'all for so much time. Can I get a credit card? And I said, I don't know why. I said, I'm gonna get ready to go switch over to the Navy Federal. Make it fast forward. They gave me a credit card. And so that's how I'm able to pay for this class. And I've been with them for 12 years and they never gave me a business. But I listened to a young man from the GPI and he talked about how he went and automatically he used the steps that he went to. And I called him out on it. And that's what happened. And that's how I was able, everything else that didn't come through, I didn't let that block me. I got that credit card and that's how I'm going to be in this class.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Again.
Just one more thing, please. Can you drop? Sorry, I my Zoom logged off. But if you can drop the contact information in the chat box,
If
we need
they,
to
I
contact
put my
you.
information in there, but I guess if you all are looking for any teaming and partner, I don't get in the middle of that. If y'all want to partner, you
Oh
just,
no, I'm sorry. When you put your contact information in there, I think my Zoom logged off, so I didn't get that contact. So
yeah,
if you
it's
can put
it's
it
in the
one more
chat.
time.
Okay, I'll do
Awesome.
it again. All right.
Thank you very much.
All right, everyone. I'll see y'all. If you're here in Atlanta, come on up to the New Black Wall Street for the book signing. And love y'all. Let's make it work. We gotta save us. All right. Talk to you. Bye-bye.
Great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.
Goodbye, Facebook family. Mhm.